Hello. Before we get started in Unreal Engine, if you have a blank project or you do not have the top-down template, make sure you click on Add and then Add Feature or Content Pack, and then click Top-Down and add your project. If you do have it already, don't worry. Also make sure you have the Start Content enabled. Alright, let's get started. I made two new folders in Map and Texture and Material. We started in Texture and Material. I imported the static mesh and the tutorial map. Of course, when the static mesh came in, there were multiple materials. So what I did is removed all the materials that came with the static mesh and made my own two. I named one default and selected. Let's go to default real quick. This is just a constant vector form, so it's quite simple. You can just drag off the base color, name it const for vector, and then just on this part here, you can just make it anything you want. There you go. Now it's blue. You can also do, if you want some more emission, you can also put some emissive color. But I'd like to do this for my selected objects and not for my default objects. For the selected, I essentially have just two constants again, but one I plugged into the emissive. So you can, if you want, you can just duplicate this to here, which I'll do actually, and then put this into the base color. And then what we do is we can actually go for brighter blue and put this into the emission color. Now we have this nice emissive blue, which I like. And maybe do some more. Okay. Alright, now with the tutorial map as well, your outline that we made in Paint.net or any other program you used. Right click it and create material. Call it map outline. Double click it. You can see it's all black. You want to show the lines. So go into material down here, blend mode, and make sure it is translucent. Then at the text sample, drag from the alpha into the opacity. There you can see, we now have the lines, which is good. Vanilla plane. I don't know if it's gonna show me. There you go. See, now we have the lines. Apply and save. Go down top down map. Then I want to go into content and into the map folder. If you haven't made one yet, make it. Then in the map folder, right click, blueprint class, actor, BP underscore map. Double click this. Down here, save all. Alright. Now let's add two static meshes. One for the outline and one for the 3D map. Oh, seems like I didn't name this correctly. There we go. In the 3D map, we can just put in the 3D map. If your texture will not look like this, so what I did actually is I replaced my default textures. If I could you can go into static mesh and replace my default textures with with the default other texture I made. So just do that. You don't have to, but I like doing that. Now you can see you don't really see the provinces. That's where the outline comes in. Click the outline, go to static mesh, and we want to do plane. In the plane's material, we'll click map outline. As you can see, the plane is way too small. So what we can do is press R to scale, and then just drag it like this until it fits perfectly, like so. sure, as you can see, there are some, you know, some not so good overlapping, but that doesn't really matter that much. If it really bothers you, what you can just do is when you're making the thing in Blender, make sure you do it really well, the knife tool. Make sure you cut it all out very, very carefully and well done, which I didn't do, but it is possible. As you can see, they're essentially just on top of each other, but that works. Then in the outline, we want to go down to collision presets. So see where it says block all dynamics? We'll go there and make it so it says no collision. Compile and save. For the 3D map, also go down to the collisions, collision presets, block all. Good. Compile and save. Now, let's make a variable in there. This is for later. We'll call this index. In this variable, we'll make it a integer of type array. Compile and save. Add an array element, and we'll need 4, or well, in this case 5, but it will say index 4. So, and if you know why, it's because we have 4 elements on the 3D map. As you can see, we're actually 5, but 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we want to make sure we got each and one of these. So in index 0, we'll keep 0. Next 1, we'll make 1. Index 2, we'll make 2. Index 3, we'll make 3. And index 4, we'll make 4. So now this should line up with this. That's good. Now I'll go back into the control blueprint we made in the last episode. Right, as you can see, it's the same with the edge scrolling. I'll actually comment this out. There you go. This is for the edge scrolling. This is the zoom. I'll just put this closer to each other. Alright. Now what we want to do is make an event, or I'll get an event, make it event begin play. Once we begin play, we want to actor from class. Oh, that's not the right one. Spawn actor from class. Select class, make it blueprint, and then map. Let's make sure that this is selected like this. Then under spawn transform, we want to make transform, location, make vector. Now you want to get a reference to the actually no, I think we can just get no, we can just do this. So let's get actual location, return x, y, on the z we'll do 10. Now if I press compile and save this and we load in, there we go, there's the map. Alright, great. Go back into control. Now let's make a reference for this. I actually have one, so I'll delete this one. Actually, delete all of these, so you do not have more variables than I have. Return value should be promoted to variable. This variable you should call 3D map. There you go, that's good. Now, comment this out, call this play. And notice what will happen when you start the game. So what this does is, this happens when the game starts. This will spawn the blueprint map on this transforms, and then we'll set the reference of the 3D map so we can use it later in our code. Now right click and then the event tick. This will be called every frame. What I can also do now is right click and get player typing controller. From that we want to get hit result under cursor by channel. This will get our mouse cursor. under here, and hit result should be break hit result, and then impact point should be promoted to a variable, impact point ref. You get the reference of this impact point. Now we're almost done. You want to get a line trace by channel. From the end will be our impact point reference, and actually it says up too, but the start will be our impact point reference plus 1000. Put that in. Trace should be complex. And now if you click on debug type, persistent, you can actually see that it now collides with our mesh. Good. Now out hit should be hit result. Then we want to hit the component and get cast to static mesh component. There. From that, you deselect context sensitive and search get material from collision face index. Face index should be put in here, and the cast as static mesh component should be into the target. Good. Now, what we can do, compile and save. If you want, you can put a print on this and see what it returns. I won't be doing that. I will be directly, making the materials. Now, get the 3D map. We want to get index, which we made earlier. From that, we want to make a for each loop. Connect this up. In the loop body, you want to make a branch. In the branch, we want to make sure that the array element is equal to section index, and if that's true, we will be set material as map. I have to rename it for a second there because it seemed to bug out. Then true should be put here. Then we want to get the collision face index from here, section index, put this in here. And then for the material, we'll click selected, and we can just duplicate this. Ctrl D. False. We go into here. We get the array element from the element index. Put it in there. Material will be default or whatever you named it. Now compile and save this. Top map. As you can see, it now all works flawlessly. Next episode, we'll talk about data and how we can actually incorporate this. I'll see you then.